Today I'm going to tell you about 2018 tight end and preferred walk-on commit Dane Saltarelli. Also, I'm going to drop my sports animal segment from earlier this morning because Mama Savage asked for it, and what Mama Savage asked for, Mama Savage usually gets. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
So if you are as well versed in the Twitterverse as I am, because you might know that I spend a lot of time there, probably time I should be using to study and or start writing more essays for my book, or doing something like being an upstanding citizen of these United States, but I'm an upstanding citizen of Sooner Nation, so I'm here now. So February 21st, IMG Academy 2018 tight end Dane Saltarelli announced he'd be attending Oklahoma in the fall. Now this makes the third athlete from the 2018 class from IMG Academy to join the Sooners this year. The first one being running back TJ Pledger, and the big one being 5-star corner Brendan Bookie Radley Hiles. So all of a sudden we seem to have something like a pipeline going to IMG Academy, which I'm just fine with, by the way. Now I don't think that Saltarelli was highly regarded because his only offer on record was to Alabama State. I can understand why he wouldn't want to go to school there. But also, if you look around, and he obviously did, Oklahoma isn't too deep at tight end right now, especially with Mark Andrews going to the NFL. Grant Calcaterra figures to be the starter at that position, but then after that, it looked like Braden Willis might be the guy coming off the bench, and he's going to be a true freshman. So Saltarelli could come along right when we needed him, and do some good things for himself. And he's already got the size to go with the position. He is 6'5". He is 230 pounds. He is a big boy. He also attended OU's Junior Day earlier this month, which is a good thing, but one of the things I think that you would be most interested to know is what his commitment letter says. Now, he screen capped a note and put it along with a few pictures in a tweet, but I'm going to read it in full here because I feel like it's the kind of thing that you would want to hear coming from a kid who wants to attend the University of Oklahoma and play football. Quote, "Having faith in God's plan has been the creed that has allowed me to endure my journey through the game of football. Faith and unwavering love and support from my mother, father, brother, and grandmothers Melba and Ruth, as well as my grandfather Sadio, who passed last year, has helped me to endure the times of uncertainty. God's plan has placed me with amazing high school teachers, mentors, and coaches to include Coach BJ Hall, Coach Davis, Gaines Sports, Coach Culp, to name a few, as well as incredibly talented teammates, past and present, all of whom I thank for their friendship and support. God's plan continued to bless me and led me to the coaches, trainers, teammates, faculty, and administration at IMG Academy to include Mr. Potter, Mr. DeRuiter, as well as Coach Wright, Coach Stills, Coach Petty, Coach Behrens, and Coach Bell. Additionally, I have been incredibly fortunate to meet some of the most amazing college coaches and players from around the country, and I am grateful for their kindness, hospitality, and mentoring over the last 4 years. I am humbled that God's plan and his journey for me has led to Oklahoma Sooner football. I am honored and blessed to announce that Sunday I committed and signed my letter of intent to play football for and be a student at Oklahoma University. University of Oklahoma, but we'll let that slide. Great thanks is given to Coach Lincoln Riley, Coach Shane Beamer, and Miss Annie Hansen, as well as the entire coaching staff and players who welcomed me with open arms. Blessed to be a Sooner. Dane, number 81. Last guy who wore number 81 at Oklahoma ended up being pretty good. Maybe the best tight end we've ever had. I'm okay with that too. Alright, now let's get into my sports animal segment with Patrick Masick and John Moss on the Tulsa Sports Animal.
RJ Young joining us. YouTube sensation. Crimson and Cream Machine. Now, I don't know your exact age, but did you grow up in the era of the movie Blue Chips?
Hey, man, I got to say that between you and John, it's a great two-man game, man. You guys keep playing this two-man game.
Yeah.
It's a team. Also, give me the basketball so I can launch it into the stands like Nick Nolte. It's my favorite part of that.
So that's a yes.
Yes.
That's a yes. He's a blue chipper, too.
Oh, well, yeah, we've been with the craziness that transpired, obviously Friday up until this very moment we still talk about it. We talked about it on Friday. I guess if you're an OU fan, you breathe a sigh of relief. I don't know if that's the right word. It's just, look, Lon Kruger has a reputation of this is how I do things. And, at least up until this point right now, OU is in the clear.
Yeah, I trust Lon Kruger. I trust him. I trust him almost as much as I trust Patty Gasso to figure things out and to put his team in good positions to win. And, when you look at that game against Kansas State, you saw the Oklahoma team that we've been used to seeing, the one that's very dependent on Trey knowing what to do with the basketball, but also gets help from places like Christian James, Christian Doolittle, Jimmy McNeese made a lot of money, in the NBA for what he did. I think he nearly had a double-double with 10 and 9. So when they're playing that kind of basketball where they're moving the ball, they're shooting 45% or better from three, they're getting to the foul line, they're not turning the ball over nearly as much as they. It's sorry to say this, but when they get 20 assists, they're going to win games. They get 15 assists, they're going to win games. 13 assists against Kansas State was more than enough to get it done. But when they're moving the ball, they look good. But when it's Trae Young trying to beat 5 other folks, you figure out that the best player in basketball ain't going to do that.
And look, it's what we talked about a bunch with OU hoops is they've been struggling. They've been going down the wrong path. They're having a hard time finding offenses. Teams may have figured out Trae. The bottom line is when you have a guy like Trae Young, when things come together, you're going to beat a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing. You got to put him in positions to succeed. You got to help him out. You got to hit those bunnies. I mean, it's nice to see Brady Manick be himself again, among other things. So it's difficult to be in a position to where as a role player that all I have to do is to do my job, but sometimes it feels like doing my job is just too hard. So I'm glad that they're figuring out with about 2 games left before the Big 12 championship, and now it feels like that they're putting something together.
So I was going to ask you, this time of year, it's the big bracketology time of year, whether it's Joey Brackets at ESPN or Jerry Palm at CBS Sports or, whichever way you want to look at it, is, they have 2 games left, one on the road against Baylor, which is Tuesday, and then at home against Iowa State to close it out. Because they got that W against Kansas State, snapped the 6-game slide, where are you with what they need to do over the last 2? I mean, obviously you'd like 2 wins. Lenardi had him as a 10 seed, and I think that was going into Saturday's game. He hasn't updated since then. Are you comfortable, if say they split these 2, or are you comfortable heading into the Big 12 tournament that?
I'm comfortable heading into the Big 12 tournament because I think they're going to get at least 1 W there, right? But if they lose 2 games this week, they do this thing where they create a streak of losing games, and then they win 1 game in the Big 12 tournament. You're looking at a low seed, man. You're looking at maybe 12, 13, if you're lucky. They got to put together at least 2 wins of their next 4 games if they get to 4 games. We know they're going to get 3, right? So let's say they get 2 of those 3, they're in. They get 1 of those 3, we're a bubble team, and I don't like being a bubble team.
Is it not insane that we're having this conversation right now? This was the 4th-ranked team in the country a month ago.
No, it's not insane. It's not insane at all. This team was not supposed to be anywhere near this good. This team was not supposed to make the tournament, even with Trae Young. Remember that. They were supposed to be okay. They were picked to finish in the middle of the Big 12, and the middle of the Big 12 doesn't usually make the NCAA tournament. So anything that gets to close to 20 wins, goes over 20 wins, makes the tournament, for me, is a win. This was supposed to be another rebuilding year, and we landed this really great blue-chip recruit, but who, by the way, was not supposed to be this good. We didn't know he was going to be this good. Nobody knew he was going to be this good. And now you're seeing him carry this team to 17 wins, hopefully more, and with him calling the shots and pulling the shots, we could actually do something cool. So, no, this is a win for me. This is Lon Kruger saying, hey, look, we hit jackpot and we're trying to ride it out. We're doing the best we can. And I can live with that. I can.
Hey, looking at OU, obviously 2 games left regular season at Baylor, Iowa State to close it out. They currently sit, I think, 6th right now in the league, and hopefully you can at least stay there because, now granted I say, hopefully they at least stay there because that avoids having to play that first night.
Yeah, and this is not the year you want to play on the first night in the Big 12. No. It feels like anybody can come out and bite you, and that's scary, because we were just talking about Texas Tech and Kansas on Saturday, right? And Kansas is what Kansas has been doing for the last 14 years. But think about that for a second. Texas Tech is battling Kansas for Big 12 supremacy. Is a top 10 team. 2 years ago we were letting them into the tournament. It's like, okay, I guess we got to fill out the field.
Yeah.
So, no, we definitely want to play on that second night, and this would keep them out of that. But no, this is not the. That's why I say you got to get 1 so that you could possibly get 2 this week. Probably got to get 1 win so you can possibly get 2 next week. Because if you're starting out, man, if you got to play 3-4 straight games in this league to try to win a championship in a tournament, no, it ain't happening, man. This league is just too good. It's just too good.
I was worried coming into the season that the Big 12 this year was going to be one of those conferences because, I mean, look, you look at the coaching roster just by itself, and it's the best coaching conference in America. And then you didn't know what Trey was going to be, but you knew Kansas was going to be good. You thought Texas would be better with Mo down there and Shaka and all that. But I was worried that it would be a conference where they would beat each other up as conference play continued to go on, and that might be detrimental once the big dance starts in March. Do you think we're hurtling towards that? Is that what we're seeing? Because there's not even the highly ranked Big 12 teams are losing night in, night out almost because of the parity in the conference.
I felt that way come December, because all of the teams most all the teams in the conference were ranked highly, had winning records, and then I was like, no, nobody's gonna lord over this conference anymore, which means that exactly what you said. We're gonna beat each other up, and then beating each other up, you see an OU team fall. You saw a Kansas team nearly lose conference supremacy, but it's still Kansas' league. And you saw Texas Tech say, okay, we know that we can get hit in the face by good teams in our league and come back. And you see Kansas State that if they show up, they could get W's, and Jamie Six is doing just brilliant things at TCU. Remember when they were a doormat?
Yeah.
And they were a ranked team this year? So, yeah, I think that's the way it's going to be in this conference for a long time because, as you mentioned, the caliber of coaches is insane. It's really hard, even as much as I throw shade at Scott Drew, it's really hard to look around the conference and say, which guy can you just rule out of not making the Hall of Fame? Which guy can you just rule out as, he's a middling coach. He's not very good. You can't say that anymore. Everybody in this league can coach, which means that everybody in this league can win, and that's a scary thing for people outside the conference as well as inside the conference because you're not just going to stomp people on the ground, and when they go play non-conference play, it's like, oh, now we got to play a Big 12 team, and that means something now. And that's what I think is cool. So when we get to the NCAA tournament or the NIT, people look at a Big 12 conference team now the way that folks look at an SEC football conference team now, And that's kind of cool. I like that. So I'll take us beating up each other if we have a reputation around the country as a basketball league.
RJ Young joining us. You can find him on YouTube at RJ_Young. Also search him out. I was on Twitter. I also find him on YouTube. Great stuff. Hey, you... several things I want to get into. You had a video recently talking. Obviously, we talked a bunch about Kyler Murray, Austin Kendall this year. You took a look at the future of OU with Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, so one of the things that I think is always cool about being an OU fan is to look at what that reputation has brought us. When you can go to a place like Arizona, where I wouldn't expect Oklahoma to have any kind of footprint at all. And you pull a kid out of there like Spencer Rattler, who is he's a pocket, he's a pro-style quarterback to some, he's a dual-threat quarterback to others, which to me speaks that he can do anything that he wants to do with a football at the quarterback position. But when I watch his tape, which you can find on YouTube, is one of the things that YouTube is great about, is finding high school highlight tape. But this kid, he runs his own read already, and he runs it well. And that's very, very difficult to do at any level, let alone high school, because there's just so much nuance there with that mesh point. But he's also a playmaker in that he's looking for the best play. He's not going to pull it down and just run with it. He'll pull it down, and he'll put his eyes downfield, and then he'll drop dimes. And this kid's got another year of high school football left. And I'm really excited because I've seen what the kid can do in Arizona. And then throw into it, by the way, he's a phenomenal basketball player. He's dunking on kids. And we were just, I made a video a while ago about how Lincoln Riley was making fun of Baker Mayfield because he's the kind of guy you would throw in to foul other players. He's not that great a basketball player, necessarily that sort of all-around athlete like a Rattler is. And that's cool to me. Anytime you get a kid who can play the position of quarterback, but is still that Jason White kind of kid where any sport that he plays, he's good at. By the way, Spencer Rattler led Arizona State in punting. In punting, the quarterback's the best punter in the state. That's crazy. Get out of here. So, no, I'm really excited about all of these kids. In addition to some of the kids that we still keeping an eye on, a wide receiver commitment in Trajan Bridges, another kid, tall, lanky, looks like he could do anything he wants with a football. I'm really excited about this 2019 class.
As for the one that's going to be patrolling center field for the OU baseball team, where do you fall on that? That OU's potential starting quarterback is going to be out trying to chase fly balls instead of working on whatever he needs to work on, with his receivers.
I don't need my quarterback to have an exclusive relationship with football. All right? I don't. I need him I need him at this juncture where it's still college, where you're not getting paid money to play the sport. If you could play more than one sport, go play more than one sport. One of the things that Jay Norvell used to say was, I want kids who can play more than one sport. They're more coachable. They know where their bodies are in space. There are just different ways that they know how to play the game of football. And I love that Kyler Murray is getting opportunities to play both of those sports because he does love both of those sports. We know which one he's going to play in the fall. We know which one he's going to play in the spring. And by the way, all he did this weekend was, steal a base, have a hit. I think he had 3 runs scored as well. So it's not like he's just out there riding the pine. The kid can absolutely play. And he could have been drafted out of high school, chose he wanted to play football.
Yeah.
So if you can still do those things, do those things. I'm not going to say, no, concentrate on football. If you're that good, be that good. Bo Jackson was that good. Deion Sanders was that good. Is Kyler Murray that good? We'll see. We'll see.
All right, we got time for one more thing. And I'll leave it up to you. You can either talk about, and we can talk about the other one next week, your latest podcast about a friend having a wedding on a football weekend.
Well, that's just a no-no.
Or the deal now, I'm not sure on this. Now, did the student loan deal with Natural Light?
Oh, okay. So that was cool. That actually came out of this channel. One of the commenters on the channel, frequent commenters, really cool, dropped a line to me, said, hey, that Natural Light is giving away a total of $1 million to 25 folks who tell or give a video on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube about what, why they decided to go to college. And I went to college to learn to tell stories, to learn to tell better stories. And I was like, okay, I could do this. So I made a few. I made 3 of them. And earlier last week, they got in touch with me. It's like, we think you won. And I was like, you think I won? Yeah. Wink. We think you won. I was like, okay, this is a hoax. This can't be true. And then I got my, I'm in school, so I had a big exam on Saturday. And then I came out, and my phone is going crazy because apparently Natural Light is on Twitter talking about, hey, we're going to give R.J. Young $40K to pay back his student loan debt. And I came unglued, man. Because, I was like, I make videos all the time. This is fun. This is cool. Let me tell this story. And now it's taken on something else. It's something else entirely because that's not the kind of stuff that happens to me, Patrick. It doesn't happen to me. It doesn't happen to anybody I know. And I went to TU, which is not, it's not an inexpensive school. And I went to OU. And I'm at OSU, and I was, thinking about, okay, what am I going to do to pay this back? And now Natural Light, no, we got your back. It's cool. Like your video. Here's $40K.
That's not bad.
No,
I guess
that's awesome.
See, I didn't know you went to TU, so you've hit the trifecta of the major schools in Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, the running joke is that I never lose, and I was like, no, that means that I lose all the time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Alright, that's it for me. If you like the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps folks who are Sooner fans, who are college football fans, discover the channel. If you like the videos, please share them with friends and family. This is a family channel. I take quite a bit of pride in that. I want it to be something that you can watch with your kids, with your family, and feel proud of. Also, the second episode of the Woosaw podcast is up on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Be sure to listen, rate, review. Alright, that's it for me. If you like the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. Deuces.